Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the Binding of Isaac. This is a little bit different to usual because we haven't really done anything like this, especially not on the PC, because up until now, I'd been working on everything that I've been doing on the consoles because frankly, I just prefer playing on the consoles. I have the Xbox for all that kind of stuff. I have the PS3 for PS3 exclusives like Demon's Souls and everything, but otherwise, I kind of just don't really use the computer for all that much, which is strange considering that I have a Steam account with over 168 games or something, over 170 now I think, and I actually do play computer games quite a bit. I just don't ever record them, I don't ever talk about them because usually there's an equivalent on the console and it's not necessary to talk about it. Talk about it like, well, on PC I play this like this, blah 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 blah. But when I go to a PC game, I don't think, when I go to record a game, I don't think, well, I'll play the PC one because, it's got better graphics or anything. I'll go to the console one because it's more comfortable for me to play and it's just generally nicer overall. And also, up until this point, I had been recording in my room, so I hadn't had my desktop in my room to record on, so there's that as well. Now, also with the advent of my Dark Souls Let's Play live playthrough thing, I've also been doing some live stuff, so after I figured out that it wasn't that difficult, I figured, well, maybe I can do something that I've always wanted to do, and this is play The Binding of Isaac: Wrath of the Lamb. Now, if you've played this game before, you probably have, if you've watched it on YouTube, you've probably seen either Biznap or Northern Line or Namaztak or Green 9090 or Alpaca Patrol playing it. It's a good game. It's a good game, beloved by many people. Northern Line has over 700 episodes just recently, and I'm starting mine out because, hey, I want to play this game, I want to share this game with people. I don't think it's particularly going to reach a whole lot of people. I don't even think it's going to be very popular, as far as, because I am a Dark Souls, Demon's Souls sort of channel at the moment, but I would like to play it regardless, so here it is. As you can see, I've already unlocked Platinum God, which means I've finished the entire game and, finished it a lot of times and managed to unlock every item. And normally, you'd start a Let's Play and you'd work up from the bottom, but I thought about doing that and it took me about 70 hours to Platinum God the first time and another 70 to Platinum God the second time, and I'm not doing it again. And honestly, I think the runs are better with all of the items unlocked because you've got a much larger pool to pull from. Literally, all the item pools are just larger and you have a much more diverse run. So here we are, we're actually going to start now, almost 4 minutes in the bloody video. And I do apologize also for the sound of my keyboard, if you can hear it at all, because it's just, I have a Quickfire TX, a Cooler Master one, and it's mechanical and it's got MX Blue switches, so it's very clicky. I think I'll be able to get rid of most of the clicking, but while I'm talking, that might be a different story. So we're gonna hop in. We got all these different characters. Eve is probably Maggie is my least favorite. I like Cain, I like Judas. I don't really have an opinion on Blue Baby. I don't like Samson at all. But I really like Isaac, as a lot of people do, because it allows you to play the game just a little bit better. So we're going to start off as Isaac. And here we go. So as you can see, for anyone who's not played this game before, basically this game is a roguelike, which means that a roguelike with permadeath elements where when you die you go straight back to the beginning of the game, but it's also randomly generated. So the next room I walk into, for example, you've got these 4 enemies, but if you die and have to start again, then there is no guarantee whatsoever that the room that you walk into up the top will have these 4 enemies. Now obviously I've taken damage already, which is not to my liking. You control with the arrow keys, and so you control with the WA, S and D keys to go in their respective directions, normally for like a first person shooter, but you fire with the arrow keys, up, down, left, right. Now we're just going to continue upwards, and this first floor, the basement, it's really it's a very easy set of floors. In general, sometimes you get rooms that just dick you over, and if you start with a different character like Eve, because Eve has a lower damage multiplier than all the other characters, I guess the lowest damage actually of all of them, sometimes that can be just extremely hard to play. Now, Pride sucks dick because this is one of the 7 deadly sins, and they're called mini bosses, and they have a chance to sometimes drop rewards in the form of items. This is a consumable. Now these are tarot cards. Tarot cards have various effects. The game, you'll notice, doesn't tell you what it does, it just tells you what the name of the item you picked up is. Now the Fool, I'll use it now, takes you back to the start room. That's it. It's a pretty useless tarot card. There are much more useful ones available. In our first item room we get the Relic, which is extremely good. It's a really nice pickup. Basically it follows you around, and every 4 rooms it shits out a Spirit Heart, which is essentially a temporary heart to go on top of the 3 that we have in the top right corner of the screen here. Now if I didn't like that item, I could have pressed spacebar and re-rolled it with the D6. This is thanks to the item that Isaac has, which is very useful if you don't like starting off bad. I mean, sometimes you can re-roll a bad item into a bad item, but sometimes you can re-roll the worst item in the game into the best item of the game, and it can really start you off on the right foot. So we're going to head into the boss. This is Gemini. Gemini is pretty easy. He has a few other variants. There's also Steven and the Blighted Ovum. Basically, he'll chase you around the edges, and the other dude, the little one, will fire bullets at you when you get into his line of sight. And once you kill Gemini, once you kill the big one rather, as you'll see in just a moment, the little one gets really angry, and he starts to follow you around the boss arena. Now, getting damaged on the first set of floors doesn't really make a difference, but unfortunately it does start to make a difference once you get into the later floors, because once you get into basement 2 and beyond, you have the chance to, after you've beaten the boss, get something called a deal with the devil or a deal with the angel. And that's where you can either trade health for specific benefits with items, or you can get something different from a deal with the angel. And the deal with the angel will just give you a free item, but you have to have declined a deal with the devil before in that playthrough or in a previous playthrough without closing the game. It's a lot to take in, but I promise I'll try to keep it as on a need-to-know basis as I can, but I'm still trying to explain everything that I know so far, because I do watch a lot of Isaac content on the web. I've seen all 700 plus episodes of Northern Lions Let's Play. I've seen a good percentage of Biznap stuff as well, and Biznap's taught me a lot of things about it. I can't say I really like him as a YouTuber, but he is very good at what he does, and I do like watching Northern Lion because he's really funny. So we're going to re-roll that item, because that set of high heels that was sitting there was Mom's heels, or Mom's heels. Feels so weird to say the American version. But this has been re-rolled into Breakfast, which is an HP up. So see, we have 4 hearts instead of 3 now. Now we've already been in there. We don't really want to unlock this money with bombs, because up in the top you'll see we have coins, that's cents, and we have bombs, which we have 1 of at the moment. Press shift to place it. And we have keys, and we have 1 key. Now that key can be used to unlock doors that need keys. And see, this door was just unlocked when we first came across it in the first floor, but on the second floor and beyond, they're going to be locked. This is, yeah, it can be a bit dickish because everything is randomly generated, so even though there may be 4 doors that need keys on the level, you may only get 1 or 2 or none. So, or you might get like 20. It is really that random. And that's either to the game's detriment or to its benefit, depending on your point of view. Now the boss also dropped an Eternal Heart. When we go down to the next floor, we'll skip this little vignette, it turns into another HP upgrade. So we've gained 2 HP upgrades on the first floor, which is extremely good. That means we'll probably be in a good position to trade for a deal with the devil, or we can just max out on health, which is real good. You can have a maximum of 12 red hearts on the screen that you can fill up. You can go beyond that, but then it only counts for trading with deals and stuff. But you can have, there's no limit to how many spirit hearts you can have on your screen. So even if it goes like right up to the max, if you collect another one, it'll collect off screen, kind of like how in Dark Souls, if you have over 1850 health or something, it starts to sort of just go beyond what you can see, and even if you take damage from an enemy, it won't show on your health bar until you take below like 1850 points. As this first episode is probably going to be, it's either going to be really short because death comes really suddenly in this game, or it's going to be very long because I'm going to be making an effort to explain things as I go. Now, when I'm playing this game, I'm probably going to be explaining what items do all the time, what my opinions on them are. But mostly I'm just going to be trying not to die. This first episode is a bit of an exception because this is the beginning of a new series, so I need to kind of sell you on the idea of, this is an indie Flash game, and it is very enjoyable. I have 200 hours on it, which is it's barely anything to some people, because some people have thousands of hours in it, but it's really good for me. Because I typically just play bigger release games, like I play third-person action stuff, so for me to play a Flash game, it's a big step in the right direction. I really like it. I'm not the biggest fan of indie games in general. Like I really don't like platformers. I don't like other twin-stick shooters that have tried to come out and mimic The Binding of Isaac. Not because they're trying to mimic it, but just because I don't like the type of gameplay that comes out in it generally. It's this game's really dark sense of humor that I really love. Now, I really apologize if you can hear the sound of my keyboard, but I'm afraid there's nothing I can do. I play better with this. Oh, I just lost my spirit heart entirely. This enemy I hate. I really hate that one. And I've taken red heart damage on this floor. I've lost 0.99 of my chance to, like 0.99 out of 1 to go and grab a deal with the devil after I've beaten the boss. Because once you take damage, you lose that much of a chance. It's really strict. But if you beat the boss without taking damage, you get 0.36, I think 0.35 more. And yes, that does mean that if you take no damage on the floor, and then take no damage on the boss, you can technically get over 1. So you can be assured to get a deal with the devil. So there's that as well. And the fly enemies are they're interesting in that they can't damage you if you put yourself right up the top of the room. Just cannot damage you at all unless they get knocked into you by other weapons or your tears. Sorry, by other enemies or your tears. Now this is an item that we don't want. This is Brother Bobby. He is not special. Special items, basically, there's 197 different items in the game to pick up. I know, that's a bloody lot. But special items, when you pick one of them up, it makes you less likely to pick other items that are special up. Like it's something like quarters the chance that you'll run into another special item. And some of these special items are really good, and some of these special items are absolute garbage and they don't do anything. Like literally, toothpicks, if you ever run into it, do not pick it up, because as far as people have been able to tell, I think it does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now we will just re-roll him with the spacebar, and that is Peeper's Eye. I don't really want to get that, but we might not have a choice, because now we're not going to have another re-roll, because you'll see up in the top right where the D6 was highlighted and all colourful before, now it's all grey and blacked out, and it's got 2 ticks of charge next to it. That means I can't use it at the moment. Like if I hit spacebar like that, it does nothing. But every time we go and finish a room that has enemies in it, it will recharge by 2, because that's how fast this item recharges, and other items have different recharge rates, and it's all very, very confusing to take in at once. But basically, we don't have any other rooms on this floor that could contain fighting except for the boss room, and when we can only recharge by 2 more, that means we'll have 2 left still at the end, which is unfortunate. So we won't be able to reroll Peeper's Eye, which means we might as well pick it up because it is not special. And something I also just realized is that, you know, when we came out of when we blew up when one of the enemies dropped a bomb and it blew out one of the walls up in a different room, and we went into that room with a slot machine in it. I didn't really elaborate very much. You can play the slot machine with your money. It takes 1 coin every time you do it, and it can pay out with different things. The blue ones, fortune tellers, they pay out with trinkets, which are little passive items you can only carry 1 of at a time that give you specific benefits, or they can give you ailments as well, depending on which one you pick up. And there's also there's a normal slot machine and they can also, the fortune tellers can give you spirit hearts as well, which is why they're slightly more valuable than normal slot machines for me. And the slot machines can give you pills, which have various effects. They can give you money, flies, and it can also just give you an enemy to fight as well, which is it's all very, very random, and it's very rare that you get an item that actually manages to change the rate at which you win those sorts of transactions. One of the characters on the start screen actually starts with one that changes the percentage chance that you'll win in a gambling situation. But I didn't mention this either, because the relic is just something that follows you around, but Peeper's Eye, it is your left eye. It is your left eye. It just popped right out of your skull, and now it's floating around the room, and it'll damage enemies when it comes into contact with them. Gruesome. And it's really, really, I love this game's gruesome sense of humor. It's really nice. Games are so afraid to be bold anymore. And this is Famine, and he's blue. He's usually a different color, but he's blue this time. And he's blue because he's a champion version, which means he behaves differently from the normal versions of this boss. Famine is one of the horsemen of the apocalypse, if you don't know your biblical lore, and frankly I wouldn't blame you. But some of it's kind of cool actually. If you're interested in, Grecian lore, lore. If you're interested in like Greek mythology and stuff, if you read like some of the more modern interpretations of the Bible, it's really cool. It's got some real cool shit in it. Now, he drops, and all of the horsemen of the apocalypse that you fight throughout the game drop a cube of meat. And the cube of meat is a Super Meat Boy reference, if you know that game. And the cube of meat just rotates around you. And when enemies fire bullets at you, if it lands on the cube of meat as it's coming around, like it manages to hit the cube of meat instead of you, it'll nullify the damage that you would have taken without it. So, it's a good item. Keep it. If you get a second one, it'll stack on top of it, and it'll start to shoot for you as well. But we don't have enough money to go to the shop, which is what's on the on the right side of the map. So we're going to head down to the next floor, and I'm going to take a drink. So we've passed the first 2 floors, and we're on to the catacombs. And the catacombs is like a jump in difficulty generally, because you'll encounter new enemy types like this fly that shoots 2 bullets at once at you in a V-shaped pattern. They can be difficult to avoid, but generally they're less annoying than the ones that only shoot 1 bullet at you, which is interesting because these spiders, the big ones, actually break into 2 little spiders. And we're on caves actually, but we've gotten an alternate floor that came with the Wrath of the Lamb DLC. Basically every set of floors now has an alternate version of it that's harder and has the new DLC enemies in it. And it's generally a step up in difficulty, and there's no reason that you like earn one or the other. It is literally a 50% chance when you enter the next floor as to whether it's one of the DLC versions or the vanilla Isaac version. Now in this boss room we've got Mr. Boom. Mr. Boom is a 2-room recharge item, which means it recharges 3 ticks of its charge at a time. When you use it, it places a big bomb, and that'll explode and do some pretty good damage, but we don't want it, so we've picked it up so that the game thinks that we've used it, and it won't give it to us again further down the line. Now that we've picked it up, we're going to hit spacebar, re-roll it into the quarter, and we're actually going to pick up the quarter because we don't have a lot of money, hoping we get another key so that we can go to the shop. And the shop has some good items in it if greed isn't inside it. There's just a percentage chance that an enemy called Greed will be in the shop if you go in there, and I think it changes based on like whether you've seen him before in the run on a previous floor, and also if he's in the secret room then he can't be in the shop, if he's in the shop then he can't be in the secret room, vice versa. This game's got some pretty I'm not gonna say it's pretty complicated, but it's really vague about everything that it tries to tell you. Some of the item descriptions when you pick up new things, like they appear down in the bottom right hand corner, and they're just flatly wrong. Like toothpicks will tell you that it's tears up, which usually means that it's like a fire rate upgrade, but it's not. It's just not. And it says that it is, and it's not. Unfortunately, that's just a coding thing that we have to deal with that they just didn't get right. So I'm actually playing a version of the game run called Spider Mod, and Spider Mod fixes a bunch of bugs and item description flaws and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really nice, and it runs better, it records better than the other Isaac as well. You don't get any of the map generation glitches that the original game did. Now in this room you can see all the rocks are one color, except for this one that's 1 square above where I am right now. That's a tinted rock. If we blow it up, it'll give us something in return. So that time it gave us 2 spirit hearts, which is great, but if we try it again, like if we try it on a different tinted rock, it might give us a key, or a key and a spirit heart, or a bomb, or 2 bombs, or an item called the small rock. Now what we're going to do here is exploit we're going to use a technique that was figured out. Basically, when you use a bomb next to a rock, it'll blow its debris over the gap, and then like once you've blown debris over a gap, you can go onto that debris and then place another bomb and get these 3 bombs that are there. So that's 2 bombs for a 3 bomb payoff. But what we're gonna do is place 1 bomb here, get out of the room, come back again, and it didn't work. It's meant to actually blow up 2 squares bigger than usual, and like get just a bigger blast radius. So we could have gotten a 1 bomb for 3 trade then, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that. Let's head into the boss. This is the Husk, and we got a really slow version of him, which is really good because I hate fighting the fast version. Even though he's really easy, he's much easier in this form. And I don't think this one spawns enemies either. Just as I say it, he spawns an enemy. The black versions of bosses actually usually spawn bomb flies. I should have remembered that. But see, we're taking a little bit of damage, but we're taking Spirit Heart damage, which is different to taking Red Heart damage when determining like whether or not you'll get a deal with the devil or a deal with the angel. And that's really good. So one of the things you have to learn when you play this game, I'm dodging terribly, one of the things you have to sort of learn is that if you want to get a deal with the devil, you maybe want to try and gather as many soul hearts as you can, try and dodge, take less damage, and if you take less damage then you're far more likely to get a deal with the devil at the end of the boss room, which is fantastic. But we've taken red heart damage, which unfortunately means that we've lost all of our chance to take on the deal with the devil, so we're left with the base 1%, unfortunately. There are other items that can increase the likelihood of you getting a deal with the devil, like the Book of Belial and others. Now this is an item called Cat o' Nine Tails. It's a shot speed upgrade. Anyone part of this community will know what a joke shot speed upgrade has become. Basically, it makes your shots travel further, faster, which doesn't sound like a downgrade, but it hits enemies harder, which means it sends them further back. And if they're really light enemies, it can bounce them around a whole lot and cause them to bounce into you, so you take damage. It's just a whole lot of nerp, so we're going to re-roll it. Into the Pentagram. Now, the Pentagram is a special item, and before we pick it up, we're going to clear out the rest of the floor, because there's a chance we may get another special item, and we don't want to pick up the Pentagram because then it'll quarter our chances of getting a special item, whatever the statistic actually is. We don't want to risk it. So on our right here we have the mob trap room, people usually call it, just normal enemy trap room. You go in there, there's like either an item or a chest, most commonly a chest, and you pick it up and then 3 waves of enemies will spawn. Go in here, it's a golden chest, but we don't have any keys, so we can't bother with that. So never mind. Basically, you might get a free item or anything else, and you don't have to pay for it, but you do have to fight for it. So there's potential it might kill you, but the boon that it can present to you is really, really worth it sometimes. So we're going to pick up the Pentagram. The Pentagram gives you an extra 25 or 35% chance to get a deal with the devil. So maybe next floor we'll see us getting a deal with the devil. I'd really like to see that. But as we go down to the next floor, I'm going to take a drink. We're going to go up this time. We got Chubbers. Chubbers are these like fat walking vagina things. The projectiles they shoot out, they hang for a little while, and they also cause a full heart of damage, unlike everything else, which typically causes a half heart of damage. And they only show up on floors, I believe, that showed up in the Wrath of the Lamb expansion. So that means we're on the catacombs. You can see down the left, bottom left, it says catacombs. So we're on a harder version of the floor twice in a row, which is not uncommon, honestly. I just hope we don't get Necropolis instead of the depths. If we get to the depths, that's the next set of floors. Now, we need to get rid of these guys, because these guys that shoot the bombs, those bombs do 1 full heart of damage as well. So they're really powerful and you want to avoid them at all costs, typically. We want to make sure that we kill this spider, double spider, rather. And we do this boss, and we can't get hit. It's Pestilence, which means I'm probably going to get hit, because everyone goes, oh, Pestilence, he's really easy. Yeah, nope, not for me. Oh good, I was going to take damage then, but I didn't, somehow. That's okay with me. Basically, this game kind of brings to mind like bullet hell shooters, but far less bullet helly, if that makes sense. It's basically a focus on maneuvering and randomization of enemy patterns. So you have to get used to how certain enemies will attack you and then respond accordingly. Like any other game really, but just it can be a little bit relentless if you don't know the enemy patterns that are coming towards you. Ah, fuck. See, we got damaged right at the end then, and we might have had a really good chance. In fact, I think we would have had over 100% chance to get a deal with the devil then, but nope. So we're gonna pick up this spirit heart, another cube of meat. As you can see, he's grown a little bit bigger. He doesn't do damage. Well, he does damage when he bumps into things. He doesn't do any more, but he does shoot for us now as well. Now, we're going to be clearing out the rest of the floor because we still haven't found the item room or the shop, and I'd like to visit either one of them. The item room has priority because it's a guaranteed item that we may or may not like. Envy. I don't like fighting Envy. You'll see why. He splits into more. Brilliant. It's still better than fighting Envy on like one of the first sets of floors. Jesus Christ, I hate that. It's so tedious. But because of our damage upgrades that we've gotten so far, or our damage upgrade, rather, singular, he's going down fairly quickly. So I'm gonna take care of this last one. He has a chance to drop an item for us, or it could be just a consumable, like a bomb. Yeah. You can run into the same 7, one of the sins. There's lust, gluttony, greed, envy, sloth, pride, and wrath. And you'll be able to run into all of them multiple times across the game. It is not restricted to just one encounter, so no, don't get your hopes up. And depending on whether or not you've fought them before, they can be kind of difficult. And that was a knight, for those of you who were wondering, or as I like to call them, zombies, as Northern Lion loves to and will always call them. They are zombies, because they have a brain in the back of the head. You go around to the back of them, and you shoot them. That's pretty much it. And they can be more difficult to take care of than you'd think. Just like most of the enemies in this game, except the flies. Flies are pretty easy, in general. These are called butt lickers, bee lickers officially, but what else could they be licking? They're following each other in a train. They're licking butts. And basically, you want to stay as far away from them as possible and just try and angle shots towards them, because otherwise they're going to hit you, because the way they move is completely random. They don't seek you out at all. They just move really randomly. So we've used a bomb to... Oh, it's a troll bomb. It follows you around. Super troll bomb, actually. Jeez, where is this item room? Really far away, apparently. This is a shame because if we find an item that we don't like, we probably won't have many rooms left on the floor to go and recharge the D6 in. But we do have 3 keys now. Oh, self-sacrifice room. Don't ever use these. Sometimes you'll have to trade like 7 or 8 hearts just to get a really meager reward for it. Like you might get a bomb or something, or you might get a chest with half a red heart in it. It's just not worth it almost all the time. So we are looking for, the item room and the shop are probably going to be on the same end room, like access thing. Okay, that room was really easy because they only shoot in diagonal patterns. No. Don't like the situation. Okay, it's okay now. Alright. Oh, and they're not on the same. Mom's bra. We're gonna re-roll it. Ugh, holy water. Not good either. No, and we're not gonna have enough. We're not gonna have enough space to recharge the D6, so we're gonna jump in here. Greed is not in here, which is good. We're gonna buy another key. We're gonna buy the compass, which will show us all of the special rooms on the map without showing us the map specifically, so we can take a guess as to how far we are away from things, which is great when you've got the D6. And we're going to buy the pill, because why not? And it gave us a speed upgrade, which means we're going to be moving faster, which makes sense to anyone with a brain. And now, you know how I said before, we might as well take items because they're not special? Well, Holy Water isn't special, but it turns one of your familiars, one of the things that follows you around, into Brother Bobby if it shoots. It won't turn the Cube of Meat or the Relic into Brother Bobby, but if we get a familiar down the line, like Little Gish or Rainbow Baby, we do not want Holy Water turning it into Brother Bobby, so we are not going to pick it up. Holy Water's standard effect is also like when you get hit by any attack, it spills over and it creates like a small area of effect where if enemies walk over it, they'll take damage. And it's just not enough damage, it's not enough area, it's just a very bad item. And the item room is right next door in a room full of keepers, which I do not like. These guys are basically like the greed enemies' heads. And they are not fun to fight. They got too much health, they shoot in a V pattern, they move around quickly, and they harass you a lot. Little Chad, really. Little Chad will drop a half red heart every 4 rooms, unless you have something else that drops more items, like the Relic, for example, that we have. In which case, both items will drop every 7 rooms instead. Not what we want. So we're going to re-roll that one, for sure. Basically, the trick is to like get them to fire in one direction here, and then circle around. And that big green one was a champion, which means he has double the health of a normal oh. No. We're gonna have to take some damage getting out of here, yeah. Okay, I bombed myself out of that room because we have a reroll available. Spider Butt. Slows enemies in the room for about 5 seconds. Also gives them 20 points of damage each. We don't want that. Not good enough. This room sucks. It's not so bad, but it's just crowded. Depending on if the enemies feel like throwing bombs at you or not, it can be substantially more difficult than you'd think. Ah. It's alright, we haven't taken red heart damage on the floor yet. Okay, we're coming to the shop. We've got the Mum's coin purse, which is basically 4 pills. Yeah, her coin purse is full of pills. Our family's kind of fucked up. So we're gonna be looking onwards still. Now we're running into enemies called turrets, and these bicycle helmet dudes, I don't know what they're called. The turrets will fire at you for as long as the room is going on. You can't kill them. They'll just continue firing at you until the room is cleared of enemies. That's kinda gay, but what can you say, really? This is a curse room. When you walk into it, it damages you, unless you have flying. When you walk out, it damages you again for a half heart, regardless of whether you have flying or not in that second hit. And it counts as taking damage for the floor, so we are not going that way. What I should have been doing actually is going to the left to get to the boss room, because I'd like the best possible chance to get a deal with the devil. All that I can. Whoa, almost walked right into that one. Yes, they are walking vaginas and they're spraying their blood at you. It's gross. Masks. Shit. Yep, there goes my no damage for the level. Basically, kill the hearts and kill a heart and its corresponding mask dies. Like that. But it can be very, very difficult to get to the heart. They shoot at you as well. When you don't have flight, rooms like these are difficult, to say the least. As you can see, I lost 2.5 hearts in that room. I'm just going to take a drink. Self-sacrifice room, again. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. I do not like it. Whoa, we almost took damage. Sweet. Reroll it. Money equals power. Good item. I don't know if it's special or not, but we get an extra 0.04 damage for every cent that we possess, which is a pretty decent damage upgrade. You can see that our tears have turned red completely. We had red tears before, but only in one eye, and that was just a visual effect from having damage, from having the peeper's eye, because obviously if you tear your eyeball out, you're going to bleed. And we picked up a spirit heart, which means we may have a pretty good chance at getting a deal with the devil in here. This is Champion War, who spawns troll bombs. Thank God we got that speed upgrade. Yep, spawn some more troll bombs. Generally, I like War's fight. I think he's fun. He's not too cheesy and he's not too difficult. But the game can burn you. Like if you get too many speed downgrades, then you can literally just be not fast enough to get away from him, because he chases you in this second form of his. And he falls down every now and then, but if you can't kill him because the game hasn't given you enough damage upgrades, then basically you're fucked. And as you can see, he's dropped another cube of meat. If we pick up this one, our orbital will become a walking meat boy and it'll chew on enemies for us and cause damage, but it'll cease to be a orbital that'll block shots for us. Personally, I like having the orbital more because, well, I take less damage. So we're going to go into the deal with the devil that appeared here. I can pay 2 hearts for the razor blade, and I can pay 2 hearts for Demon Baby, which is a shooting familiar that'll follow you around, and shoot at whatever's nearest to it with pretty high damage, high fire rate tears. And the razor blade is something that basically you use it once, it takes a full heart of your damage, and it'll give you a damage boost. If you have invincibility from a certain combination of items or something, then using the razor blade multiple times while you're invincible will give you a really, really, really big damage increase. We don't have any way to get invincibility at this point, I don't think. And I don't think 2 hearts for Demon Baby is worth it. So we're just going to leave that alone. We're not going to pick up the cube of meat. We can't re-roll it into something else, unfortunately, because if a boss drops a set, like a specific item always, then it can't be re-rolled into something else because it's in its own pool. Which is really complicated to think about, and I'm afraid we're already 45 minutes into this episode, but it is the first one, to be fair. Interesting. This is Demon Judgment. Demon Judgment's kind of an asshole. He takes half a heart, and there's a chance that he will pay out with an item or a consumable or something, but his ultimate payout is an item. And there is no limit to how much health that this guy can take off you before he gives you an item. He can give you an item after 1, or he can give you an item after 80 million hearts. It is a 1 in 15 chance every time. We are not going to play him. We are, however, going to pop into the curse room. See, half heart there. Get 2 bombs, not worth it. But other times when you go in, you might get a couple spirit hearts, you might get 4 spirit hearts. You might deal with the devil items in the chests. There might be just a normal item on the ground somewhere. It's worth going in there, even, like, unless you're on 1 health, in which case you'll die if you try to exit it again. It's always worth going into curse rooms, in my opinion. Now this, blowing up this tinted rock gave us the small rock, which is very lucky. It's a speed downgrade, but a damage and fire rate increase. And this is a normal beggar, or normal judgment, however you want to call him. Basically, you pay him money. I accidentally blew him up. But you pay him money, and he has a chance to give you an item, and he always has to pay out after 7 cents. It doesn't have to be with an item after 7 cents, but he'll always have to pay out with something. Now, this item we just picked up, triple question mark soul, that's Blue Baby. That's one of the characters that you can play with at the start screen. Basically, he is a familiar that takes up a diagonal sort of course of navigating the room like Peeper's Eye, and the relic will follow him, and all the other familiars you have that shoot will follow him as well. And when you shoot, he'll turn in the direction that you're pressing the arrow key, and he'll fire in that direction, and he fires homing shots that home in on the enemies. Not a bad trinket, but not the best one in the game, certainly. Take care of this room's spiders. Now these rooms get substantially easier the more that you get your ooh, Super Sloth. That's good. We'll probably drop a tarot card. Yeah, the more damage upgrades you get, basically the easier the game gets, because you know you do more damage over a greater amount of time. So over a smaller amount of time, you have less opportunities to fuck up, basically. So damage, good. Health, good. All other upgrades, kind of unnecessary to a little bit helpful. Tears upgrades, really great. And speed upgrades, I like 1 or 2 at most, because otherwise he gets hard to control. So this is Bob's Curse, I think. Yeah, Bob's Curse. That is +5 bombs, and all our bombs for the rest of the game get a poison effect to them, so they cause a little bit of extra damage over time when they explode on enemies. It's good, but I'm going to re-roll it to the mulligan, which is good, which is really good. When we hit an enemy with a mulligan, we have a 1/6, I believe, chance of getting a blue fly to spawn. And what that blue fly does is it flies into the nearest enemy, and it causes 2 times our base tier damage, which is pretty damn good, because if you get really high damage tiers, then you get really high damage flies. Oh, and now we can go into here, and it's an HP upgrade, so we will definitely fight in this boss room. Sorry, this mob trap room. We're on Necropolis, so the room layout is a little different to normal for the depths, I believe. Or it might not be different at all, I'm not entirely sure. I should not say things without knowing. But basically, it's just a few waves of enemies. It's pretty easy to take care of most of the time. If you have good items, then if you see an HP upgrade in one of these things, it's usually worth it. Just go in, take a peek. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough. Take a drink. There we go. Sorry, I've never talked for 50 minutes continuously before. It's wearing a little bit on my throat. And we're gonna pop down to the next floor. I'm gonna take another drink. Now I'm out of drink. Well, now I am. And we're on Necropolis too, so the game has consistently given us the hardest version of every floor so far. And you can see when we create flies how much damage they do when they all fly in. They do a ton of damage. Really nice. See, now you can see we're also fighting boss type enemies, like in between rooms. Like we're not just fighting the random little shit dudes. We're fighting, you know, legitimate bosses that appear on earlier floors. So in this room, take care of the green nubs first, the walking ones. Then take care of the white ones, because they spawn spiders. And then take care of the red ones if you can. I'm gonna go into this item room. This is the heart, which is a good item. It's a it's just an HP upgrade, but it's also a complete restore of your health. So we are actually going to hold off on picking it up for now in case we take damage on this floor. And then after we do, we're done with the rest of the floor, we're going to come back and pick it up again. Because we're not re-rolling it, so we're not really wasting anything. If that's what you were thinking, we're not wasting any charge by doing this. So basically, we're going to just wait and see if there's another re-roll pedestal for us. Now, that enemy exploded and showed us the secret room entrance. Oh, and there's a Eternal Heart here as well, so we're going to pick that up before we go into the boss fight for sure. If you take damage while you have an Eternal Heart, you actually lose the Eternal Heart, so you lose the extra HP, which is really unfortunate. But it's basically like a test of skill, like you deserve this HP upgrade if you can't get hit, you know, if you don't get hit. But if you get soul hearts, or spirit hearts, however you want to call them, I believe they're called soul hearts in the game's code. But this is an unfair room. This is an unfair room. It really sucks. Unless you have flying, this can be so difficult to deal with. Because as you can see, like, there was just nowhere for me to go because I didn't cause damage quick enough to annihilate everyone. So I was forced to take damage there. Bad room. Bad room. One of the things that apparently may be fixed in the remake of this game that is coming out soon. The only reason they're remaking it, I think, is because they wanted to add more DLC to this like they did with the first pack, but when they tried to make it bigger, like when they tried to make the .fla file bigger in Flash, it just wouldn't run properly. It'd crash. So this is basically as big as they can get the game to be without it being really, really unstable. So for the next for the update, apparently Edmund Millen wants to get rid of shitty rooms like this. Really shitty rooms like this. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna be smart. That might be tough. Not usually very smart. Okay. Spirit Heart. Key. Good. We're gonna go back and pick up that HP upgrade. Usually you don't get more than one type of, that room. That room that makes you go, yeah. So, reason we're not going to the boss first on this floor? Well, we're on floor 5. Are we on floor 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're on floor hold on. Basement 1, basement 2. Caves 1, Caves 2. We're on floor 6. Okay. I can count. I just always thought this was floor 5 for some reason. But basically, the fight at the end of floor 6 is against Mum. I'm just gonna call her Mum. And she, basically when you walk into the room, she pokes in from like all the 4 sides of the room, and there's no door when you beat her at the end, so you can't walk back out of the room, so any items you left laying around are stuck there. So we're not going to her first because we want to explore the rest of the floor, get all the possible advantages that we can get, and then move on to the next one. Speed up, sure. And we got an arcade. Arcades can be potentially very good. They can also waste a lot of time, so I'm not going to stay here for too long. And I'm just going to go down to 15 cents if I can. I can't believe I got damaged by that fly. But we got a pre-fly, which is another audible. We got another orbital. So we're going to... Oh, he dropped some health for us that we can't use yet. But we're going to go to this blood donation machine, which gives you money in return for your blood. And we have more health now, and we have more money. Oh, gave us 2 keys, brilliant. If we make it to the end of the game, God, I hope not at this rate. We're already 56 minutes in, and we're only on Depths 2, which is really, really slow. I'm sorry for that, but I've been trying to explain the game for the first episode, so usually when like people do like the first episode and explain mechanics and stuff for this kind of thing, you die pretty early, and I expected to die pretty early as well, but this isn't as hard as I thought it would be to talk and do stuff at the same time. Now this is the blood bag. It's HP up and more speed. So we're a little bit too fast for my liking at the moment. We're going to blow up the slot machine, which gave us 2 cents, which is brilliant. That's perfect. Because I want 15 cents to maybe be able to spend in the shop. Now, I don't know the exact percentages, so it might be that greed is like there's no doubt as to whether he's in the shop. I just don't know myself. I don't know the chances. So we're gonna pop in. Yep, greed's in here. I thought so. I just had a feeling, you know. Oh, just die. Thank you. Greed has the chance to drop the Steam sale, which means that everything's half off. And he also drops... Sorry, he also has the chance to drop 8 coins, any of which can be just normal coins, or one of them you saw then was actually black, and that's a nickel. Yeah, I'm gonna spend the bomb and the key. Golden chests aren't guaranteed to have anything good in them, like there. Just had half a heart and a bomb in it, which were useful for us, but it wasn't worth a key, because otherwise, usually you'd trade, you know, a key for an item, or a chance at an item, you know? And that was a bit different. So we're just gonna pop right into the... I do like having high speed just for navigating, like navigational purposes. That's just a normal chest. It's not worth fighting for, in my opinion. So we're gonna head straight to the boss now. So it's like, what's your exposure to indie gaming like this been like? Have you been exposed? Because honestly, The Binding of Isaac was probably one of my first exposures to indie gaming, and honestly, I think it's one of the best exposures a person can have, because it's probably the most, apart from like Super Meat Boy and the like, but this game just has so much going for it, and such a high skill, like a skill ceiling that you can aim towards, that I haven't really found other indie games that are like this. It's got a good sense of humor, it's got solid mechanics, It's got a great community, like an evolving community that's so big, mostly thanks to Northernlion and those sorts of people, and Biznap as well. And I'm sure there are others as well. Do not quote me. It's just those are the two that I watch kind of regularly. So yeah, that's my opinion on stuff. We've been talking for over an hour now. Christ. This is the fight. Basically, she spawns enemies and you damage her either by attacking the foot that comes down to stomp on you, or by attacking the body pieces that stick in through the walls. It's a good fight. Sometimes it can just kind of burn you because, you know, like everything in Isaac, everything's randomized, so you may not fight enemies that you want to fight. You might get nothing but really hard enemies, and you might get nothing but really easy enemies. It all depends on the luck of the draw. Now we're going to pick up the Polaroid, because in order to get to the final secret level, you need to have the Polaroid with you. Not really explained to you, kind of hinted to you as you unlock the items close to the end of the game, but yeah, not really all that clear. I'm going to re-roll it into the coin purse. Maybe one of these is telepills? Yes, 2 of them are telepills. Okay, there's only one way to get out of that room because it has no doors, and that's to get a pill with telepills, which means it teleports you to a random room on the map, or to use a tarot card that teleports you to another room. And we managed to get lucky and get one, so it may be that when we get into the fight, into the boss room again, because it'll have doors now, that we may have a deal with the devil. I would not say it's unlikely. We don't get one, but there was a chance. What does this one do? Bad trip. Okay, not good. Bad trip damages you for 1 full health, 1 full heart. We're going to pick up this HP here, but I'm taking the other bad trip pill with me, because once we get down to 1 heart, the bad trip pill actually changes into a full health pill, which is its opposite, because the pills pills just can't kill you by themselves. They can't just go like, boop, well, random chance, no skill involved, you die, you know, which is really great. It changes into a full health, so if you hang on to it and you activate it at the right time, it becomes a full health pill, which is great. Now we've moved on to the Womb, and this is the Womb XL. So this is a really big floor, and all of the enemies on floors from now on do 1 full heart of damage, which is a lot. It is twice the amount that normal enemies would have done before. So I was lucky not to get hit then. Frankly, my dodging is kind of terrible. I kind of rely on items to carry me through. I mean, everyone kind of relies on items to carry them through this game, but I especially rely on them. Now you can get a deal with the devil on the Womb, with the Womb like 1 or Utero 1. That's its alternate floor. But seeing as we're on the Womb XL, because you have to fight 2 bosses in succession at the end of the floor, like the 2 bosses of the normal floors that you'd be able to get otherwise, you actually don't get a chance at the deal with the devil. So taking damage doesn't matter for that reason. You still, you know, obviously taking damage isn't good, but here we go. Binding of Isaac. It's a cool game. I really like it. We're gonna blow up these. I didn't blow up the rocks that I wanted to, because all the rocks are red in the Womb. There's a chance that these ones might be tinted, so if you blow them up, there's a chance that you might get a spirit heart reward or something. They're just hidden. You're meant to get them by chance from now on. Not worth a key to get to that chest. Oh, I thought that was the end of the floor. Damn. This is not the right path. Thanks to the compass, we know which direction the boss room is in, and that's the way I wanted to go. but unfortunately the room layout was a bit dickish. And we want basically a half-heart interval from now on, because once we get down to a half-heart of health, like that's a really stressful situation to be inside. But once you get down to a half-heart, basically you get 5 seconds of invulnerability from having the Polaroid. And the Polaroid is a really good item, actually, when you get down to that much health. You know, for those reasons. I mean, when you get hit, you get 5 seconds of invulnerability, you know, so you can, you know, plant a dozen bombs or whatever and get the fuck out of there if you want. Yeah, I was hoping that downward angle would lead to the boss as well, but it's looking like we have to go up and left and hook back down. Jeez. This game has no respect for how long I am able to talk for at a time. None at all. See, the champion enemies, they're really like the big colored ones. They drop a random item as well, so he dropped a bomb. Yeah, we'll go this way. Yeah. We do not have very high damage. Thankfully, the pentagram is a pretty significant damage upgrade, but is not as much of an upgrade as you want at this point, in my opinion. I mean, you can go the entire game without getting any damage upgrades, and those are my least favorite kinds of runs, because I like progression, like feeling like you're getting stronger, and I don't like it when the world feels like it's getting stronger but you're basically staying the same, or you're just getting range upgrades or something like that, something stupid. You know, like something that's like, oh yeah, that's nice, but you know, nothing game winning at all. The nubs actually don't do any damage on contact, unlike other enemies. So if you run into them, like the things that launch stuff at you, if you run into those, they don't do damage. This is a between rooms boss called Blastocyst. Basically all of the enemies in this game are like named after like either biblical or anatomical like diseases and you know, mythological figureheads and those sorts of things. It's really cool. I like it. Feels so unique, this game. It really, really does. I really like it. Another game feels quite like it. And the art style is fantastic too, I think. Tears Up, that's a really good pill. So we're firing more quickly now. So onto the boss, Death. Death can be a bit of a dick. You know, nobody likes death. Oh, except people who run a funeral home, I guess. But yeah, Death is... He's got 2 phases to him. They can be kind of painful, but we didn't take too much damage then. Because you got to kill his horse on the second way through. Oh, and we got another cube of meat, which means we could have had a 4th level meat boy, which does a lot of damage. But we're still not going to pick it up because I've committed to the whole orbital thing. Gonna go back and see if this heart is actually free laying around. Oh, it's not, and it's a half heart, so we're not going to pick that up. Yeah. It's going to go into the It Lives fight. This is basically the Mum's Heart boss. It's just got a bit of a texture change and enemy change. What you want to do is place bombs in the middle. I forgot to this time. But you want to place a bomb here so that the enemy that gets spawned gets damaged by it. If it's a group of enemies, like sometimes it is, then they get damaged, and they all get like blown up instantly, which is great. Like Larry Jr. there, which is a boss earlier, like a basement level boss. He gets damaged by that, and see he had in the zombies as well. Like killing 4 zombies at once, it's so valuable planting bombs. This is the final stage of the boss. it launches bombs at you, basically, like all around the room. It doesn't actually track you with them, which is great, and spawns random enemies. So, oh shit, I picked up a half heart. I'll have to go and get that other half heart. Fuck. Okay, that was an accident, but whatever. Have to get this half heart, and when we get hit next time, when we get hit twice more, we have to take the bad trip pill. And we're gonna go up to the cathedral, because this is the way to the secret boss, sorry, the secret last floor. Hate these enemies. They're like the grey silkworm enemies, but they blow up when you kill them. And when they're charging at you, you know, you're kind of likely to blow them up as they're getting to you, which is really annoying. Hey, Pestilence, what's going on? Whoa! Don't slow down the game like that, please. I know you're angry, but ugh. Trying to record this. It's funny, the computer doesn't even slow down when it does that. Like, it's not a processor overload or anything. It's just the game not being able to handle itself because it's coded in Flash. See, full health, and you can see this invincibility that we've got. Real nice. I did not think I would be taking all that damage in this room. As you can see, the enemies actually have health bars on them when they get hit. That's not a feature of the standard game, that's a feature of Spider Mod. I just like being able to see how much health, like, enemies that don't have health bars have left on them. It's kind of an advantage, but kind of not, and if you have a problem with it, go fuck yourself, basically, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah. See, now we're fighting, more difficult bosses in standard rooms, which is interesting, and sorry, I'm gonna have to pause for a sec there. Alright, sorry about that. I got a phone call, and unfortunately I am not nearly important enough and I don't make money off YouTube, so I can't afford to, say, well, I am only earning my daily bread and stuff by doing this YouTube stuff, so I can't just ignore people when they call me, much as I would like to. Now, there are no item rooms on these, this extra floor, these extra floors that are after Depths and Necropolis. That's why I wasn't going looking for any of the golden doors or anything on the room. And then not here in the cathedral either. This is a good, easy room. Really nice. Enemies are super easy to take care of and pretty easy to dodge. And that's perfect. So we got a half-heart interval and we're about to take on Isaac, which is great. Isaac is really hard to fight. As you can see, holy fuck, bullets is probably anyone's first impression when they fight this boss. I do not blame them, because holy fuck, bullets. Heap of them to shoot. I generally either like to stay in one position, and just shoot and hope for the best, or I kind of feign the ability to dodge. And either does or it doesn't work out for me. So we're into his second phase now, where he's basically the same as his first one. He fires a little less often, but he also fires homing shots as well, which are the purple ones. So they'll home in on you if you try to move around. And basically, if he's firing homing shots, you want to be up the top and moving around. And now he's into his third phase, in which he summons the angel fetuses to fight for him as well, which is a really odd sentence. I have a feeling we are going to die. We are probably very likely going to die. Yeah, we died. Okay, but that was a really good run. We got all the way up to Isaac on our very first episode. So, thank you for watching. I'm sorry it was a really long episode, but this is going to be the longest episode to date on my channel. This was The Binding of Isaac, a very, very long introduction to it. Thank you for watching, and I may see you in the next episode, depending on whether or not I continue this. So bye.